What if I told you the next war in the Horn is already funded? Not by governments, not by donors, but by gold buried under the mountains of Tigray. What if I told you that Chinese financiers, Canadian papers, and Tigrayan commanders have quietly built a $3.5 billion war chest, one that could redraw borders, reignite rivalries, and turn an exhausted region into a gold-fueled battlefield? And what if the biggest secret of all is that the people dying from poisoning, smuggling, and hunger are financing the very war that may destroy them? Way good, fan. Welcome to Semonigna Spotlight, the channel where the Horn's buried truths don't stay buried. Tonight, we are pulling the lid off the most dangerous gold empire in East Africa, an empire built on ghost companies, foreign cash, armed commanders, and the silent bodies of miners poisoned in the shadows. This is not a story about mining. This is not a story about corruption. This is a story about a war economy constructed quietly in the ruins of Tigray, financed by Chinese capital, shielded by Canadian legality, and enforced by commanders who turned checkpoints into cash registers. What started as two simple mining licenses has exploded into a secret network of military escorts, covert machinery shipments, underground smuggling routes, and a gold pipeline stretching from Adwa all the way to Dubai. Tonight, we follow that pipeline, from the checkpoint where a single Chinese miner was waved through at gunpoint, to the Canadian ghost company claiming zero revenue, to the Chinese networks supplying the machinery, to the Tigrayan commanders who realized gold is a stronger weapon than any AK-47. What you're about to hear doesn't just expose corruption, it exposes the financial engine that could fuel the Horn's next conflict. This is the gold warlords of Tigray, and it begins now. The checkpoint that exposed everything. A journalist, blocked by heavily armed soldiers at a Tigray checkpoint, was told, "No one goes in without military authorization." Then, a dusty pickup truck arrived. Inside, a Chinese national, a local interpreter in military fatigues, and miners carrying tools and chemicals. A slip of paper was handed to the soldier. A nod. The truck was waved through. The reporter was turned back. The miners were escorted in. That moment revealed the real chain of command in post-war Tigray. The guns serve the mines. The mines serve the money. The money serves the next war. And the entry point to this entire network: two mines officially licensed to a Canadian company called East Africa Metals, EAM. On paper, EAM owns Mato Bula and Da Tumbuk. In reality, armed commanders and foreign investors own the ground, the machinery, and the gold. The three-tiered empire. Looting Tigray. 1. The Canadian cover, EAM and the ghost chairman. EAM is the legal face. It files to the Toronto Stock Exchange, issues clean financial reports, and claims it has never earned a single dollar from Tigray. Yet the mines under its license were running full speed, with excavators, rock crushers, cyanide pools, and Chinese crews digging day and night. EAM denies involvement, but the money trail tells a different story. At the center is Dr. Jingbin Wang, a geological kingmaker with roots deep inside China's state mineral strategy. His roles: chairman of Sinotech, sent $1.1 million into EAM. Chairman of Nickel North, linked to additional financing. Former chairman of Beijing Donia, sold Tigray's licenses to EAM. Chief geologist of Zijin Mining, China's minerals giant. In other words, Wang sits at the intersection of Canadian legality and Chinese power. EAM provides the legal umbrella. Wang's Chinese networks provide the capital. Local commanders provide the guns, and Tigray's soil provides the gold. 2. The Chinese muscle, Tibet Huayu and Silk Road investments. Satellite imagery shows heavy machinery, excavators, bulldozers, crushers, rolling into Matobula and Da Tumbuk as early as 2024. 16 miners, former security officers, and insiders confirm. The Chinese miners are the operators. They run the sites. They extract the gold. They finance the expansion. They work for Silk Road Investments, owned by Tibet Huayu. Tigray Resources, jointly owned by EAM and Tibet Huayu. These are the boots on the ground, the crews who built Sudan's gold empire, now building Tigray's shadow economy. 3. The Tigrayan commanders, the new warlords. When the war shattered the region, governance collapsed. Into the vacuum stepped armed commanders. They now guard the mines, control the transport routes, tax miners, sell gold to the National Bank, smuggle the rest across Eritrea and Sudan. A colonel loyal to Tigray's interim president, General Tadesse Weirde, recently took command of both major sites. Supporters call it a crackdown on illegal mining. Critics call it a takeover of the golden revenue stream. But all agree, whichever commander controls the mines controls the money, and whichever faction controls the money controls the next war. The RSF Blueprint: How Gold Purchases Guns. Here is the reality as uncovered by the investigation. Tigray produces most of Ethiopia's total gold output. Gold prices are at historic highs, and billions, yes, billions, are being siphoned out of Tigray by ex-generals, smugglers, foreign mining networks, cross-border traffickers. Much of this gold ends up in Dubai and the Emirates, the same route Sudan's RSF uses. A 2025 investigative report concluded there's money to be made in Tigray, which produces most of Ethiopia's gold. But billions of dollars are being lost to an illicit trade run by ex-generals and smugglers bound for the Emirates. Contrary to rumors, the federal government is not intentionally buying Tigrayan militia gold to fund a future TPLF war effort. Yes, Ethiopia is desperate for foreign currency. Yes, some gold from Tigray ends up laundered into the formal system, but the government is not knowingly purchasing rebel-financed gold. It is simply unable to fully control the flow from Tigray's fractured, militarized extraction zones. This is not a deliberate financing scheme of TPLF. It is a symptom of state weakness, not state collusion. The human cost, the poisoned people of Tigray. The mines are soaked in mercury and cyanide. Miners showed reporters welts across their hands, skin peeling from their arms, breathing problems, blindness in one eye. Downstream, 2 children died from toxic runoff. Crops have failed, animals have died, water is contaminated. A woman miner said, "Without chemicals, we don't earn enough. With chemicals, we die slowly." While warlords count gold, the people count graves. The final quote: the truth no one wants to hear. In a bar in Shire, an ex-soldier summarized the entire investigation in one sentence. The commanders, the federal officers, the foreigners, they make the chaos, then profit from the chaos. Everyone benefits, except the people of Tigray. This has been a Semonigna Spotlight investigation, revealing the hidden war economy preparing the Horn for another catastrophe. If you want us to expose the next secret empire in East Africa, drop it in the comments. Until the next bombshell, stay sharp, stay critical, stay awake. Semonigna Spotlight, signing off.